Now, for years, we've watched as venal forces, I want to put venal in boldface and italics because it's truly venal. Venal forces lined up against Donald Trump. They punished him with impeachments, sham civil suits, baseless indictments, all politically motivated. And it was all because he wouldn't play nice with the swamp. All he wanted to do was make America great again. But that in and of itself, that was a threat to the gang that likes to run Washington without accountability. But Trump's not the only one being pummeled for daring to stand up for the voiceless. Because a similar dynamic is at play in New York City at the trial of Daniel Penny, an American who refused to sit back and do nothing when others were threatened. Remember last May, we covered it at the time, Penny saw Jordan Neely on the subway, and witnesses say Neely was screaming like a maniac at other passengers, actually threatening to kill the other passengers. Now, Penny didn't wait for someone to get hurt. He sprung into action, tackling Neely and restraining him until police got there. Neely went unconscious and later died. The NYPD hauled Penny in for questioning.
Some guy came in, he's like, whipped his jacket off, and he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody, I can go to prison forever, I don't care, I don't do this. At that point, I looked to the person next to me like, hey, just hang on to this phone for me. I had my headphones in and took it off, and just kind of like grabbed him from behind, because he came in, just to like, because he was acting like a lunatic, like a crazy person. So, and he was rolling around the floor, and at that point the train stopped. I was like, someone call the cops, and he's still like rolling around, still going crazy. I had two other guys kind of help me, just kind of keep him from going nuts.
No, you notice who wasn't sitting next to Penny in that room? I don't believe, unless I'm missing something. A lawyer. Why did he think he needed a lawyer, right? But now we see the line of questioning shows that they were after something else, proof that this Good Samaritan was guilty of a crime.
I'm not a confrontational guy, and I'm not out here like trying to attack people, you know.
But he was making enough of a scene that you noticed him, and then you probably would have noticed if he put his hands on someone.
But I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, he waived his right to counsel because he just only protected people on the subway. But of course, Democrats will almost always side with thugs against patriots, as some did in this case.
No one should really be strangled to death for acting up on a subway or performing on a subway.
We see a black homeless person who is scary because that person's hungry or thirsty, and it's okay to dehumanize the person who's in need of help or who's simply trying to protect themselves.
I also find it very strange that people will come to the aid of an accused rather than come to the support of the judicial system.
Okay, I don't even know what that means, but what if their son or daughter or wife had been on that subway car? Do they not care about how regular people feel threatened every day of the week in these cities? Now, I know congressmen, most at least, have security. But most regular people, they don't have security.
Regular, everyday people need to be safe. If they're harassing people who are vulnerable and nobody gets involved, it could create a dangerous situation for a lot of people.
The MTA should be concerned about the issues that is happening once they're on board of their train and their service. So possibly look into having some sort of added security.
What are we doing? Why are we not prosecuting some of these guys or getting them off the streets or going if they need mental help, get some help for them?
No, because we're prosecuting the people who stood up to fight the people who are threatening other Americans. And of course, Alvin Bragg, DA Alvin Bragg, as he did with Trump, ignored the evidence, and he goes forward and he charges Daniel Penny with second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. Now, as this trial plays out, it becomes more apparent how ludicrous these charges are. Almost all of the other passengers, and when they were interviewed, recalled how Neely had menacingly approached and yelling about being hungry and wanting to go back to jail. One witness testified that she was filled with a sense of relief when Daniel Penny took Neely to the ground, saying, "This was the first time in my life where I, took a moment because I thought I was going to die." And all the evidence suggests that Neely was mentally unstable. Dr. Alexander Bradley, a forensic psychiatrist for the defense, testified that Neely had mental health breakdowns, including delusions that the rapper Tupac Shakur was using him to change the world and that he heard the devil's voice. Neely's toxicology report also found synthetic marijuana in his system. But this is where Alvin Bragg's focus is: prosecuting a brave man who risked his own life for others. And frankly, when you think about it, how bad things are in the New York subway right now, it's like a shining light in this crumbling, crime-ridden subway system. And when he's not targeting the city's heroes for prosecution, Alvin Bragg is trying to, of course, imprison President Trump.
In regard to the President-elect Trump's sentencing, do you want a sentence to be rendered before inauguration, or would you rather it come after his term?
We have significant competing constitutional issues, the office of the presidency and all the obligations that come with that, on the one hand, and on the other hand, the sanctity of a jury voice, a jury that has spoken and rendered a guilty verdict.
When any of you out there think law school and passing the bar is difficult, remember Alvin Bragg did both. So when he continues to funnel the city's resources into these baseless prosecutions, the real violent criminals are still roaming about the streets, terrorizing people. Just this week, 3 were killed during a random stabbing spree. The suspect, 51-year-old Ramon Rivera, has an extensive rap sheet spanning 3 states. And Gary Worthy, a convicted felon with 17 priors, get this, only including murder, is accused of holding up 2 local businesses before reportedly shooting NYPD officer Rich Wong and an innocent bystander. Officer Wong fired back, killing Worthy. These stories like this, part of the reason why Trump made gains in certain parts of these blue cities. Manhattan seems, to be lost, still lost, but the Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, obviously I already know about that, but made huge gains. And people have had enough. This is just warped, a warped version of justice. And where the heroes are prosecuted and the villains set free.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.